are Christians obligated to observe the Sabbath? And I'm going to argue no, because, and let me say that there are a lot of people like Seventh-day Adventists, Seventh-day Baptist, and Messianic Jews who will say, yes, we should observe the Sabbath. And the question isn't, should we observe the Sabbath? I think it's a great idea if we can observe the Sabbath. But the question is, should we, or are we obligated, are we required to observe the Sabbath as believers in Jesus Christ? To that I say, no, we're not. You see, the idea of Sabbath is, it's in the creation narrative, and that's where the people get idea that God did it, so we should as well. And that's a great idea. That's a great thought, and I'm not going to argue against that. But I think we have to look further in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8 to 11, is the fourth commandment. That's about the Sabbath. And to Israelites, to the people of God, it was a stark and a striking reminder that they were freed from Egypt, and they were supposed to reflect on the reality that God is the ultimate source of rest and liberty. So to them, it was an obligation because they were supposed to remember. It was to the Jewish people that God says, you must. And by that, I don't mean to apply that there are certain things that God only asks of the Jewish people. What I'm saying is, this is more like we are to reflect on the reality that God is the ultimate source of rest. Now, fast forward to the New Testament. Jesus, in fact, becomes that ultimate rest, source of rest and liberty for us Christians. So our faith is in Jesus. And when we do that, it says in the book of Romans, apart from the law, the righteousness of God has been made manifest. So once we know that Jesus Christ is the one who fulfills everything, the work, the law, that his incarnate self is the reality for us, that because he did everything, we don't have to. Because he fulfilled the law, everything that was obligation, he fulfilled it. Now we get to rest in that ultimate reality that is Jesus Christ. And further, we have in the book of Colossians that it's not about the Sabbath or the day or the moon. If you prefer, that's what the Apostle Paul said, if you prefer, you can, but don't obligate people to do it, because all of that is shadow of the substance to come, which is Jesus Christ. So if you're in Christ, we're not obligated and bound by the requirement that we must follow and observe the Sabbath. If we're in Christ, we don't have to observe the Sabbath. But should we? I think personally I will say to that, yes, we should probably integrate in our lives a day of rest to contemplate and pray and rest in God. But that's a different question than are we required to.